But that's why I love the Formula One. It's so full of dramas. It's like a Latino soap opera, but with like all men. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. With you, your server, Manena Manatu, on another episode of Girl Talks Formula One. So today, we are back with Drive to Survive because season 3 is coming out in no more than 3 weeks. Therefore, I decided to leave the last videos of season 2 right before season 3 comes out. So today's episode is musical chairs. Now, this episode is quite interesting for me right now to be talking about because we have a few characters that we actually miss in the Formula One. We've got Cyril Abiteboul, which I'm like, what the why did he quit? That was majorly unexpected, am I right? We also have Nico Hulkenberg, which is kind of a controversial, debatable topic. A lot of people think he should return to the Formula One. Me? Well, I shouldn't really be giving my personal opinion about this, but I personally think he should not. Is that going to open a conversation? I don't know. If it is, comment down below. Do you think Nico Hulkenberg should come back? I think he had way too many chances, but yes, he was salty. I feel that, failure after failure, well, it wasn't really a failure because he was in the Formula One, so that's like major enough, but he used to have so many victories and podiums on the Formula 2, on the Formula 3, right before he hit the Formula 1. And he just broke a record of being the driver with the longest Formula 1 career without hitting a podium. And then we also have Daniel Ricciardo in his beginnings in Renault. So this is a very interesting episode. I really liked it because it's a little bit more fresh and a little bit more easygoing and carefree than other episodes. It's really refreshing to see two teammates get along well. Even though Nico Hulkenberg kind of resented Danny, as they like to call him, a little bit because, well, he comes into Renault where Nico Hulkenberg was driver number 1, because we all know Carlos Sainz was driver number 2 until he moved to McLaren, then he became driver number 1. Kudos to you, mi amigo. But Daniel Ricciardo is also used to being driver number 1. That's the main reason why he left Red Bull in the first place, because he got demoted to driver number 2, which is exactly what is happening to Nico here. Now there's a huge difference. Daniel is speedy. He's a great overtaker, and even though he's charming and also very funny, he's also quite competitive, and well, he's not gonna take any second plates of nothing. So far, he's achieving his goal. Nico Hulkenberg has just been demoted to driver number 2. Cyril Abiteboul has a very soft spot for Nico, and we've all seen him defend him quite a lot on other episodes. He sees Nico as this kind of Formula One god that hasn't really achieved anything. Okay, that was mean. Because I like Nico. I kind of understand how frustrated it can be to try and try and try and not get a result. This is exactly what happened in Germany, his hometown, when for the first time in fucking ever, Max Verstappen was in first place. He was in second place. He was so close to crossing the flag until he crashed. Great. Cyril just said that Nico might be cursed because, well, he was finally going to achieve a podium, and he didn't. But let's go to the beginning of the episode, shall we? Cyril is very grateful with Nico because he's been in Renault for the past 3 years, ever since Renault was still in P9. Nico and Carlos took Renault all the way to P4. That was in season 2018. But they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed because, well, according to them, Renault is not performing so well. And we all know what one place down can do to you in the Formula One. They are currently in P5. Daniel or no Daniel. So Nico is a very talented driver who has never won a podium. But we all know how the season of 2018 ended. Carlos Sainz hadn't had a contract renewed, and Cyril decided to hire a new driver, Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel joining the team has set the bar very high this season. I quote Cyril, I don't know if that was a good French accent, but I hope it was. You know, I love doing accents, so you're gonna be seeing a lot of that, well, in the upcoming videos. The thing here is, who's going to be number one? May the best man win. Nico versus Daniel. It's on. So we go all the way to Montreal and we can see how Daniel is struggling with his car. I mean, he always does when he just joins a team. This always happens while he gets adjusted to the new car and everything. Blah, 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 blah. Nothing new. Nico, on the other hand, has a pace to be as quick as Daniel or even quicker. That's what his team principal thinks. And something I think is very funny is that they all have this very cute pet name for Daniel. It's Danny. I mean, you'd be thinking that during a race where there's so much pressure, they go like, Daniel, you know, and they're like, Danny, P50, Danny is right behind you, Danny, and I'm like, what? You can see how, you know, the family environment in the Renault team was actually very sweet and very real. Moving on. Not so sweet maybe, because they were rooting for Danny. We all know this kind of happens often in the Formula One, in which we see the own team members try to pit one of the two drivers. Nico Hulkenberg was asked to cool down the car. Thankfully, he knows his car. So he said, are you kidding me? He was literally going like, I'm not gonna pit. So he never went to boxes. Kudos to you, Nico. That is the kind of aggressiveness we need in the Formula One. Off camera said, I mean, are you kidding me? I know they were teaming up for him to go higher in the standings of that race, but nothing was wrong with the car. So it's like, why were they making him pit? We all know this is something that happens quite often in the Formula One. Remember Cyril? Yes, I bet you do remember very well. Either way, this race was quite tight. Nico finished in 7th and Daniel was one position above him in 6th. And Nico can start seeing how his teammate is achieving better results than him, which makes it a little bit harder to get along with. Because it's like, it's all about interest. It's like you want to like your teammate, but at the same time, you're obviously a little bit jealous about his performance. Does that make sense? Even Alain Prost thinks that. When you have a team, 2 drivers, your main competitor is always going to be your teammate. There shouldn't be a driver number 1 and a driver number 2, but it's difficult when you have 2 drivers. And I've mentioned this before in other videos in which I say that if there were 3 drivers, this wouldn't be the case as much, because here it's like you have good and bad. You have black and white. You have 1 and 2. When there's 3 drivers, I mean, there's the best one, and then the other 2 are like, oh yes, we're gonna be working on you later. Here it's like, either you are or you're not. But Daniel perfectly understands the situation. He even says, naturally, you don't want a teammate to be the next big thing and ruin your career. There's a little something called karma. Cyril Abiteboul is under a lot of pressure because the reason why he joined Renault was because he said he could bring the team back to the top. I mean, okay, yes, they were in the low grid and now they're midfield, which is a massive improvement, but this has me wondering, do you think this is a reason why he quit in 2020? I mean, did he really feel that much pressure? Or did they make him quit? I mean, if you really watch into the series, you can see how he's always kind of hinting that he could get fired in no time. So I'm like mind blown because I still don't get it if he got fired or if he quit himself. That's something I would really like to dig deep into. And he still hasn't gotten his tattoo by Danny Rick. So there's pending business right there. And okay, let's make this episode more controversial as if it were possible. We all know that Esteban Ocon left the Formula One in 2018. He got no contract renewed because he was having quite a lot of trouble with Checo Perez. And so he became the Mercedes reserve driver. Toto is an amazing mentor, and he's doing everything he can for Esteban to have a seat in 2020. So he has a very close relationship with Cyril Abiteboul, and he kind of pushes Esteban to form part of Renault. And it's quite possible because Daniel Ricciardo still has 1 more year left in his contract, and Nico Hulkenberg, well, this is actually the last year of his contract, and if he wants to re-sign with Renault, he'd have to sign another contract. And the thing is that Cyril did not want that. So he signed Esteban Ocon after the Formula One plays a little bit of mind games with us, which this keeps things spicy. Don't get me wrong, I kind of like it. But they tell us Esteban is not going to be in Renault. They tell us Nico is going to be in Renault, and then Esteban leaves Mercedes, joins Renault, and Nico leaves the Formula One and becomes kind of like a substitute driver. I didn't even know this was a thing. But 2020 had so many substitute drivers. I mean, am I right? Anyway, we have reached the end of the video. Even I sighed, and that was a real sigh. I'm like, dude, this was too much for me. But that's why I love the Formula One. It's so full of dramas. It's like a Latino soap opera, but with like all men. So it's like great for me as a woman because I like everything I see. Okay, that was kinky. No, but thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. And see you again next week on another episode of A Girl Talks Formula One.